Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Tobias. I'm a floss enthusiast from Berlin. I'm volunteer for the FSFE, working for the FSFE, but today I'm here as Fediverse ambassador because I'm on the Fediverse since 2008, and I love this place. I'm co-developer of Friendica, and last year I had a short introduction talk about the Fediverse here, and afterwards I talked with several people at the booth of the FSFE about the Fediverse and all the stuff that's going on there, and many people were really surprised that it's not all text. So, in short, the Fediverse is a place where communities run their own social networking platforms that then interact and allow their members of the communities to interact among each other. And the Fediverse as a total, so after the conversations last year at the booth, I looked into the Fediverse from the perspective of my little Friendica node, somewhere in my living room, because we have a nice statistics page about what kind of servers does this instance or this node know. And at 1 o'clock, there is Friendica, that's a small yellowish thingy, and then all the different colors are different software platforms that you can use. The large blue thingy is Mastodon, and I was curious, how realistic is this view onto the Fediverse, and I just updated the slide. So last week I had a watch at some statistics server, and there you see it's a threefold of dominating platforms. Any idea which ones those are?
WordPress, Ghost, and
I see. So exactly, it's WordPress that is dominating the number of installations of servers in the Fediverse, because there's a lovely add-on. You can just switch on, and your WordPress blog or your website that you're running on WordPress as CMS is part of the Fediverse. And that allows anybody on Mastodon, on Friendica, on whatever platform to follow your channel on your website based on WordPress. Second one is Ghost, and then the third one is Mastodon, and then comes the rest. So, coming back to my own statistics, I went through all of those colorful dots and checked what are you, and all grayed out basically, or blacked out, because everything is based on text, except of those two, and then the pink chart, that's the others. So, let's have a look. The others in total, it's something like, depending on which statistics server you go on, it's something between 6% and 10% of the Fediverse servers that compose those other non-text-based part of the Fediverse. And there you have audio platforms allowing podcasters to host their podcasts in the Fediverse and people in the Fediverse following them. We have Funkwhale, which is the platform to put on playlists of your band into the Fediverse. We have photo pages like PixelFed or Vernissage where you can tell your photo stories, and we have video platforms with PeerTube and Owncast and Loops. We have a platform for classified apps where you can do your yard sale in the Fediverse. We have event managing platforms with Gantio and Mobilisons. We have a platform to discuss books. I know it's also kind of text, but it's different text, come on. We have platforms to share bookmarks, and we have a platform to share 3D printer models on the Fediverse. And I will just shortly dive into a little bit of some of those projects, mainly those that are highlighted in green there. So the first one, Castopod, is a platform for podcasters. And what I think is interesting there is they offer an option for micropayment. So creators of podcasts can have a revenue generated from their work in a GDPR-friendly way on the Fediverse and earn some money back with their work for podcastings. And from the onlooking part, so what I see as a user, it's really kind of boring because I just follow the account for a podcast. The podcast appears in my stream, and I can just click on the play button and listen to that podcast. And that's beautiful, right? I mean, it's beautifully boring that it just works. And then I can interact with it. I can comment on the podcast and share it and like it. And yeah. And obviously, from that platform, you can then redistribute your podcast via RSS feeds to all those other channels that everybody else is using. The second one I wanted to highlight is Owncast, because I think, even though I don't do it, I think live streaming of stuff, whatever you like to do, I mean, hours of games streamed live because I have actually no clue. But people are doing it and people are watching it. And we have a platform on the Fediverse where you can just do that. You just plug in OBS to your own cast, and then people can follow you, and you can write them a short notice, like in 10 minutes I will start to cast, and today this is the topic. And once you hit the recording and streaming buttons, your followers will get a notification in their stream, and they see actually you casting there once they click on the preview image, and they can interact with you. You get the same live reactions we like on that other commercial platform thingy. Then it's relatively new that we have loops federating on the Fediverse. Loops is, whether you like it or not, a short video sharing platform. I heard that's something people do on TikTok. Again, it's not my world. I have no clue what they are doing there, but it's apparently a thing, and I think it's beautiful that we have it now on the Fediverse. You can host it your own if you don't like the main instance of loops, but we can now share short videos on the Fediverse and share it and comment it and like it and whatever. And then, as I mentioned, there's a place to run your yard sale on the Fediverse. So the idea is that on Flohmarkt, which translates to flea market, you put on the stuff that you want to sell, and other people then interact with you with direct messages, announcing, hey, that old computer that you have there, I would like to have that. What's the price? What's the conditions? I don't know. And then you can chat with them and deal and haggle, and in the end, come to a nice consolidation for everybody. And it's compatible with Mastodon and all the other things we have on the Fediverse. So you don't need another account just to bid on some second-hand stuff that somebody else will want to get loose. So it's there, just use it. And then that wonderful, crazy thing, 3D models on the Fediverse. On the one hand, really, on the other hand, cool. I mean, we can just exchange 3D printer models and whatever else, right? On a very basic level, it might be even just image sharing, but actually, if you go on the websites on a manifold platform, you can rotate that model and zoom into that model and look into the details. And it's, I don't know, I feel it's amazing that this kind of thing is possible on the Fediverse with an open source software on an open stack of protocols. Yeah? And actually, that were the projects I wanted to highlight. The Fediverse is largely funded with, or many projects have gotten funding from NGI Zero, and the FSFE is supporting the work of NGI Zero and supporting the work of those projects and with legal help. And FSFE is purely funded by donations, so if you like that work, then you might consider donating to the FSFE. Otherwise, I will just go back to that slide, and we have actually 2 minutes left for questions.
Yes, thank you very much for this very interesting journey into the expedition into the Fediverse. Are there maybe any questions or comments? We have a little time left. Yes, please. So I just give you mine.
I always have the issue that my client doesn't really display what I want. Like, I use Fachli now, and it doesn't really work with Lemmy, and I have 2 clients then, and the Fediverse concept makes no little sense anymore. So what would be the client that can display most of the stuff from the different servers?
Okay, I'm using Raccoon for Friendica, which can display everything that comes into my Friendica stream. I cannot talk about Lemmy, to be honest, because I don't use it, but I don't really have an answer for you. I have a friend who has spent the last year basically testing all the Fediverse apps on 2 phones, because there are 2 worlds, right? And yes, it's a different talk and not within 15 minutes, but come by to the next Fediverse meetup in Berlin and ask him.
Any other comments or questions, please?
Speaking of meetups, we have a link here at the bottom of this Signal group, which is unrelated. We're trying to keep track of events related to the Fediverse. Check them out, upcoming events, past events, where there's notes, where there's videos. We're trying to keep up. If you organize one, get in touch. We put you on the list. That's where to ask your questions.
Yes, so very quickly. Oh my God.
What I thought to myself when I saw this little graphic, like, for example, Castopod, there are objects for audio, but they eventually share a node, same as Flowmock, they share a node behind the scenes. So.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.